Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. My name is Nick Speer. I am the host for this podcast. We'll be talking about all things esports, why the NCAA should pick up esports, and just statistics and viewership. I'll let my guest, Joey, introduce himself. Why don't you give the rundown for yourself, Joey?
So I'm Joey. I'm a Homeland Security major. I'm a junior. I am on the varsity League of Legends team for EKU. Esports has a big place in my heart, especially because I'm on the team, and I know a lot of the people who are actually on the teams throughout the campus. It's just a great community, and even though everyone is different, everyone has one common thing, and it's just to game and have fun.
Exactly, for sure. So I want to hit this podcast started off today, so as you know, the NCAA voted back in 2019 to not pick up esports, and I think that was a huge mistake, let alone like Yahoo, CNN, all gave rundowns of why they should do that. And then the pandemic actually in 2020, and esports play and viewership actually jumped up like 30%. So why don't you pulled up some statistics here for us. Why don't you give the rundown of like those statistics, esports versus actually like the NFL, MLB, and stuff like that.
Yeah, so these were projected viewers in the U.S. in 2021. NFL was projected to have 141 million. Esports was in second place with 84 million. MLB 79 million. NBA 63. NHL 32. And MLS 16.
That's crazy. Especially with MLS, they say that it's growing here in the United States recently with the signing of like Lionel Messi and stuff like that. But that was pretty jarring for me too, because people think that esports is all about nerds and just like there's so many stigmas against people that play esports. But in high school, I actually watched a Call of Duty tournament, and they like played it in this 6,000 person arena, and they had like the table set up and just interviews, and it's very professional. So kind of how do you feel as a varsity esports player looking at that viewership, and what would you tell like the NCAA to why they should regret that decision on picking that up?
I mean, not just based off those numbers, but in general, if you look at professional esports, like I said, I'm a League of Legends player, so I mostly watch League of Legends, and Worlds is going on right now. Mm-hmm. Within the first 5 hours of one of the streams, there's already over 100K views. So a lot of people watch this stuff, and with the pandemic that happened, a lot of people resorted to gaming. Mm-hmm. And that brought a lot more people into the esports community who now, some probably want to go professional. Mm-hmm. And the only way to do that is for it to start getting recognized by other bigger companies, NCAA included, mm-hmm. and that'll give them gateways into the professional esports.
Right. And it's crazy too lately with all like FaZe Clan. I know you've heard of them. Just like all these big sponsorships, and they've been sponsored by Walmart, NFL players. LeBron James Jr., his son, is now sponsored by FaZe, and it's just crazy with all these esports people. And so I know University of Kentucky released an article back in 2021 where they told the NCAA that they would regret it because their esports teams now are getting hundreds and thousands of viewers, and it's just super jarring. What kind of you guys do kind of on the esports side? Like, where do you guys like play, and kind of what other things do you have besides League of Legends?
So for us, and I believe most of the other esports teams here on campus, we all mostly play just from our rooms with our own equipment, just mm-hmm. because the esports lounge, it's not big enough for all of us in general. Like, if every team were to go there and practice, we can't. I mean, but the esports lounge does look really nice. I love it. I go there a lot and spend a lot of time there, though.
Yeah, and that's true too, because esports, they don't need like these big arenas playing. You can stream from home, and the technology is there for it too. So, I mean, I just really wish the NCAA made that decision to pick it up, and kind of, how do you guys like get uniforms and stuff? I see you wearing a uniform today. Like, how do you guys kind of like get that? Do you guys have a budget from the school? Like, how does that stuff kind of work out?
So we have to pay dues, mm-hmm. and it's $25 to be on the team, and then another $25 for the jersey. Mm-hmm. So it's $50 overall for team mm-hmm. and jersey. But
right, kind of take me down like kind of like a match? How does kind of a match run down for like kind of like League of Legends there?
So, we joined a new division this year, and now it's best of 3, and it's going to be a Swiss bracket, if you know what that is. So, essentially, you play a match. Whoever is home will decide what side they want to be on for the map, and then whichever team loses will choose the second match. If it goes to a third, the loser of that second match chooses what side they want.
Yeah, and hitting back on like those arenas and stuff like that, these big tournaments too, they hold them in these kind of like halls too, and it's so much cheaper than just having to build a new arena or working with like the basketball team, the volley, like whoever else sports in that arena is. It's just so much easier to be able to get that going. So kind of where would you want to see esports kind of go from here? Like, would you want to go into, like, you are independent now, but where would you want to see esports kind of go on from here?
I would like to see it go into NCAA and actually start getting, because NFL, MLB, they have live views going on actual TVs. Currently, esports is just on YouTube.
Oh, really? Okay.
YouTube and Twitch. Those are the two main platforms that it's broadcasted off of. I would like to see it get broadcasted on TV for everyone.
Exactly, too. And, you know, like all these big, like these YouTube channels, and there's this new age of coming in, and they're really starting to compete, like obviously with like ESPN, Fox Sports, stuff like that. I really think they're missing out on the money here too, the money side of it, because all these sponsorships are just so much money with NIL too, you know, and like these big programs and facilities really don't know what they're missing out on. So I really hope that, you know, they really reconvene there and kind of missing out, because I think the pandemic was kind of, you know, just kind of like a blessing in disguise almost for esports too, because you couldn't, like NFL had 0 people had to show up to their games during that season. Esports, you could still watch it. It was still millions and millions and millions of views, you know? So kind of we're going back to like locally, any like ideas for people to like just get out there and like watch esports, and, you know, how do you think they should beat that stigma of, you know, kind of like the nerd stereotype of like gaming and stuff like that?
I mean, EKU actually has a Twitch channel that they stream most, if not every esports match that goes on, and I believe there's matches every day of the week. It should be EKU Esports should be the Twitch channel name, and I mean, if you just look around, you don't know who's actually an esports player, because I've seen people who don't look like nerds, and you wouldn't think they're an esports player.
Yeah, shout out Devin. Basically, do you guys like play like other like schools? Obviously, like is it just regionally, or how does that kind of stuff work out? Like I know the college sports, like they do like SEC, ACC. How do you guys kind of work it out there? So
in our new conference, it's actually regionally, I believe. So I believe it's all mostly East Coast schools and like the eastern side of the U.S.
What's kind of like the farthest team you guys played? Like, do you remember, like, is it mainly just people here in Kentucky?
No, the furthest team we've played, to my knowledge, is actually New York.
Oh, wow.
A team from up there.
Oh, wow. How'd that kind of go? Did you guys win that one?
I believe that was the team we were supposed to play Friday. They ended up having to forfeit.
Yeah. And are you, like, wanting to get out there more inside League of Legends? Like, do you have any other interests and stuff like that? I know a good friend of ours, once again, Devin, plays like CSGO and stuff like that. Do you want to do any of that?
So I do play other games other than League of Legends. But for esports, just League of Legends. League of Legends is my only esports commitment.
Oh, nice.
I have.
For people like wanting to get interested in League of Legends, kind of give us a rundown of like what kind of like League of Legends is like.
So it's very different when you play on a team versus by yourself. Because team-based, you have other people to rely on. You need better communication as a team. If you play by yourself, you just need to be able to focus on yourself and improving and having some type of basic communication with your teammates. Also, there's 5 main roles in League of Legends: top, jungle, mid, ADC, and support. Jungle is probably the hardest role and the easiest would I would say would be top or support.
Okay.
And just choose a champ who is from that role, but also seems interesting for you to play.
Yeah, and kind of like you said, communication, work with the team there, and that was part of the NCAA's rule back in 2019 was that there wasn't actually like required like physical activity, and I get that, but and then again, they're like females don't play at all, but I'm sure like, and the University of Kentucky actually put the article out, and they were like actually 46% of like esports players are female, and so I just think that was just like not true at all because it takes communication like League of Legends, like it's really team based, and then you kind of go off of the female side of players too. Like that's just not true. So I mean, but then again, that's just their ruling. I guess they're missing out on millions of dollars. Well, that's kind of all we have today. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and I hope everyone listens in, and I'll see you guys soon. So.